to Table Talk and Tumbleweeds, and as always, we will start with asking you to please subscribe if you have not subscribed already, and if you'd like to, please make comments in the comments down below, and we will respond to them as they come through. And we are in this season of Lent now. It's the second. We just finished the Second Sunday of Lent, and we are doing a Lord of the Rings journey for Lent. In today's reading, we are reading the Two Towers from chapter 5, which is book 3. So we're going chapters 5 through 10, which is basically we have Rohan, the battle at Helm's Deep, and the ride to Isengard, and the fate of Saruman. So this is your warning. We will be given spoilers like mad, everything up to now. So if you haven't read it and don't want spoilers, turn it off, read it, and then please come back. Okay. So
we're going to Rohan today.
We're going to Rohan today, and Rohan is a perfect opportunity to focus on, well, what our focus is for this week, which is choosing truth.
Yeah.
And I think the interesting thing about truthfulness, we often think about as a private virtue, right? I mean, this is George Washington, I cannot tell a lie, and that's how we know, the last honest politician, right? George Washington was a good guy, because
even that story is a lie, though.
Oh,
it didn't happen.
You lie, liar.
So it's such a weird thing that we built our idea of what is truth
and
lie.
It's not a lie, it's a myth.
Myth is a good word.
Myth is a much better word. I mean, myths are, a different standard, and I think this is a different conversation.
Truth versus fact.
Truth versus fact.
Okay.
Right? Just, but really this idea that a truthful person is a good man, and this is, and I warned you ahead of time that this was coming, but this is very much Kantian ethics, right? And I won't go too much into Kantian ethics, but he has this whole, the categorical, blah, blah, blah. But there is, these are ethics that, we can will that everyone would do this. Do you want a society that's built on lies? No, I want a society that's built on truth. Therefore, truth is an absolute, and it applies to all people at all times and all places, so you should tell the truth. Yeah, and that is a...
Yeah, and a moral action is immoral for everybody in every context.
Yes.
There's no such thing as contextual goodness and contextual evil. And
a moral action for Kant is, by definition, something that you could will that everyone would do. You want a society in which everyone tells the truth.
Yeah.
Or do you? Right? And so this is, and this goes way back to sort of graduate school, right? And me flinging my pens at people. This goes way back to graduate school, and pretty much every philosophy student ever. It's like, okay, Kant, let's imagine that I'm hiding Jews in my closet, and it's Nazi Germany, and...
Is it an ethical thing to tell the truth?
Right, they knock on the door, and Kant would say, categorical imperative, right? I'm sorry, just because it's inconvenient doesn't mean you can't say it. So if the Nazis knock on your door, you say, yes, I cannot tell a lie.
There's something
George Washington, the Jews are in my attic, right? And so, so this is, and as you can imagine, philosophers and moral ethicists, and even Christians, yes, I can say I think truth is important, but in that situation, you should lie. And so this is, so this truth as a black and white, right? Telling the truth and truthful action as a black and white. Tolkien.
It's a little more subtle.
He's far more nuanced than that. This is not, we've talked about before, this is not a battle between good and evil. This is not a battle between truth tellers and liars, because his good guys lie all the time. Bilbo lied to Gollum way back in The Hobbit. Thank you. Bilbo lies, Gandalf lies, everyone is lying all the time. Frodo, well, I'm not going to give it away, but Frodo's going to be lying to people, and so people are lying all the time.
Oh yeah.
And this is not Kantian ethics, right?
No.
And they're lying because they don't want people to know they have the ring. Don't tell people what you have. Don't tell them what you've done. I mean, this idea of you should tell the truth at all times. Kantian ethics are very black and white. There's the right thing, and then there's the wrong thing. But of course, for Tolkien, his good guys lie all the time. Tolkien is much more nuanced than that.
And part of this is because this is not good versus evil.
Yes.
This is we versus me.
This is we versus me.
And so how do you make this we a cohesive grouping without having a little bit of things to make sure that the way is smoothed out a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, you certainly have, Bilbo and sticking with Lord of the Rings, I mean, you have the Fellowship omitting omitting the full truth and sometimes outright lying all the time so that people don't know that they have the ring.
Yeah.
People don't know where they're going. They don't know what they're up to. So there's that. But then you also have this idea of cohesiveness.
Yes.
The me versus we. Yeah.
And even when in the Breaking the Fellowship, the orcs come and they steal the halflings because they're told to find some halflings.
Yes.
And they do. It's Pippin and Merry.
Yes.
They don't know that they've lost those other two who actually have the ring.
Yes.
And so it's this moment of, hey, you missed those guys. No, you don't say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you want the ring? He's got it.
He's the one. No, that would be ridiculous.
That would be ridiculous. That would be so you have this idea of protecting the ring, but I think there's the danger, and again, I think Tolkien is much too subtle for this. There's a danger in sort of saying, well, you can lie if you're one of the good guys, right? And I'm looking at you, Boromir, right? Because everyone all the time thinks, well, I can do this thing because it's for a better purpose.
Yeah, it's a greater cause, and so I can. The ends will justify the means, and the ends are good.
And the ends are good, and therefore I can lie for this purpose. And I don't. Well, that might be a little bit of what Tolkien's going on, but I think there's other stuff that's going on in there as well. Because one of the difficult things, one of the hardest lies, is when we lie to ourselves. And I think we might come back to that a little bit later when we lie to ourselves about what we're up to and what and confronting that. But I think really this idea of it's the me versus we, and that how do we distinguish the kinds of lies that are told. And I think it's the impact on the community. It's the impact on we, not just on me. And that I think for Tolkien and for Paul, we'll talk about Paul probably not until the next video. But for Tolkien, truth is a communal virtue, and lying, and sometimes even telling the truth, is a way to manipulate and exert power over people, and that's when it becomes a problem. And this is where we arrive in Rohan.
Yes. So we show up in Rohan, and Rohan has become very closed off. It doesn't want to have contact with anybody else. Everything is about us, and we just have to protect ourselves because everything else has gone horribly wrong.
So Rohan is a place that you can really, really see the impact of lies on community. And as you just pointed out, they're suspicious. They're suspicious of all outsiders. When what's left of the Fellowship, which is Gimli and Legolas and Aragorn, run into the riders of Rohan, they speak to them in their local language. Yeah. And Aragorn says, well, I speak that language, but why aren't you exhibiting the common courtesy of speaking the common tongue? Yeah. And they say, and I think I have it here somewhere.
We don't want to talk to anyone who does not speak our language.
Yes, so you had it right there. Yeah, we don't want to speak to anyone who doesn't speak our language because they're strangers. We don't want strangers here. So you have this suspicion, almost a paranoia about everyone who comes from the outside.
And it's a communal paranoia rather than an individual paranoia.
Yes.
And this has come from somewhere.
Yes. Yeah, well, it has.
It has. This has been engendered into the people of Rohan on purpose. And so...
And I guess we'll get to that. Yeah, I mean, it has been introduced on purpose by Saruman by way of Wormtongue. Yes. Right? Wormtongue, who is the one who is whispering in King Theoden's ear, and you have this sort of sense in which, Wormtongue, he's not just lying, he's telling very targeted lies, right? He's playing into fears, he's playing into, and he's worming his way in. And I think this is something that you see, there's a lot of that in this book, that lies are really powerful because liars can tell you exactly what they want you to hear, right? Or what you want to hear, right? Oftentimes, right? So liars can say, you don't have to worry about that, right? Or liars can say, oh, you should worry about that, even when you shouldn't, right? They can tap into your insecurities, and we see that with Wormtongue, right? Who is constantly whispering in the king's ears, and I think. Again, we could come back to this. There's more we might want to cover on this a little bit, but the impact of all this lying is that this is a community that's suspicious, but it's also a community that can't see what's going on.
All of the lies are made so they cannot differentiate what is the truth.
Yes.
And when they see the truth, they go, well...
I don't know, fake news, right? Yeah. They're like, and even Éomer says, and this is in the movie, and I don't know if it's in the book, but Éomer says, Theoden can't tell friend from foe. He might not welcome you. He can't tell the good guys from the bad guys. So you have this, and there's a temptation to say, oh, well, the reason they make such bad judgments is because they don't know the truth from falsehood. But I think, and I will speak the name. I think this is Hannah Arendt, right? And I was sort of Tolkien So small digression, Tolkien always said, this is not an analogy. I'm not talking about Hitler, I'm not talking about Germany, I'm not talking about this and that, but I do think that there had to have been an impact from him because he is writing this in the 30s and 40s, and Hitler is building a nation of lies,
yes.
right? And he's building a nation of lies through propaganda. You have to fear these people, fear these people, fear these people. And by fearing those people over there, he was able to create this very distorted community who he could continue to lie to. But people become, this is what totalitarianism does, right?
Yeah.
People become very suspicious of each other. And the thing that happens with suspicion is that even when you tell me the truth, I'm like, I don't know if I can believe you. So that undermines judgment. But what you see in Rohan is not just a community that is having trouble discerning the truth, they also can't act. They can't do anything. They are an inert. They are a community that is stuck. Paralyzed is a great word.
By that paranoia and fear and worry about everybody else.
And just to sort of maybe go back a little bit, so I think one of our first things when I talked about fellowship and the formation of fellowship, right, where you have, Frodo says, I'll do it, I'll take the ring. And then everyone else says, I'll do it, I'll do it, I'll do it. And so fellowship and community is based on the shared and mutual promise, right? Well, if I can't trust your promise, then there can't be any community. So you either have to do this alone or it can't be done. And so this is what this lie does to this fractured community, is it separates people from one another. You can only act alone, you cannot act with others. The writers of Rohan don't have that problem, right? They still trust one another, but they've been driven out.
Because they trust each other.
Because they trust each other, and because Wormwood has whispered lies into Theoden's ear. So again, the impact of lying on a community is that it corrodes trust, it divides us. Lies are constantly changing, right? They're unstable, and thus it kind of keeps us from acting with one another.
They're so unstable that when you see the truth, you can't recognize it.
You can't recognize it. So what do you do? Well, I'm just gonna go watch TV.
I should do what I think and what is best for me,
and everyone else can be gone. So this idea this idea of this community that is overtaken with lies, that is unable to stand up against Saruman, right? Ultimately, this is how Saruman is weaving his way in. Ha ha ha! The men of Rohan can't do anything because they're all so suspicious of one another. So that will enable me to take care of my other things. And once I've gathered my armies, then I can destroy them, and they will be powerless to stop me. And as long as he can keep whispering those lies into Theoden's ear, then everything turns out okay for him. Right?
Which is what he wants.
Which is what he wants. So the question then becomes, and I will cover this in the next video. What do we do in those situations? How do we overcome the whispers and the lies? And that will be the next video. If you are watching on the playlist, it should come up right next.
Yep.